we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about the Grand Sport. So if you guys didn't see the video I put out about the Grand Sport, at this point it is pretty much confirmed that it's going to be a 2027. David and I got the same information a little bit, separated by a couple hours on the same day from two different sources talking about the fact that the Grand Sport was in fact testing at Milford. So whenever we got on the live video and him and I were kind of collaborating stories, we started to realize, okay, this is legit. This car is literally at Milford. So the more I started digging into it, the more I realized my contact that was giving me this information actually has a lot of information about the car. So obviously we have a 2027 Grand Sport. Everybody kind of assumes what this car is going to be. It's going to be a wide body with likely a Stingray-esque power plant, whether it is exactly the same engine as in the Stingray or something slightly tuned differently, or maybe even a completely different engine. But all of the rumors point to 530 or less horsepower. So this thing's not going to be turbocharged. It's not going to be supercharged. It is going to be naturally aspirated. It's going to still likely be a pushrod V8 unless they change the engine. Then maybe it's some sort of overhead cam V8. But at the end of the day, it's still likely to be a 6.2 liter. It's not going to be a flat plane crank. It's going to be a naturally aspirated, lower horsepower engine with a wide body on the outside. Yeah, you can't. Real quick, I just want to address this before we continue with the Grand Sport. KP, for now, I think we would only accept U.S. cars for the website. I think anything international is going to throw a real wrench into the works. So, and Anthony George asks, he says, dumb question, can you wrap over PPF? Yes, you can. It's not ideal. Ideally, you do it the other way. You put the vinyl wrap down first and then PPF over top of that to protect the vinyl wrap. If you vinyl wrap over PPF, you're going to, anything that's in the PPF, so if there's a spot of dirt in the PPF or any lines in the PPF, that vinyl is going to accentuate it. So you can do it, but it's really not going to be the greatest. Again, guys, if you want to get in on the giveaway, it looks like we only have one person in on this right now. $10 is an entry, $50 or more is double entries. You can win this turbofan with a set of the True Seal wash protection blocks, which go in the back of a coupe C8 to make sure water doesn't come in. Altogether, you're looking at well over $200 worth of stuff. You could potentially win for $10. So check it out. Anyway, let's go back to the Grand Sport. So again, if you guys didn't see that video I was talking about before, I talked a lot about the intake here because there was a spy shot, literally photographed from a guy's neighbor. And this is it. This is what is most likely the Grand Sport. Now, there's a couple reasons why I believe we're looking at the Grand Sport here. The biggest one is, why would this car still be in camo at this point if this is just a Z06 or an E-Ray? It's pretty much that simple. There's no reason for this car to be in camo. So that means this is likely a new model.
I made fun of him for not knowing that's a ZR1 intake. Let's see if he figured it out.
Again, we're looking at the rear bumpers where I wanted to focus most of the attention, because you can see right below the taillights is the heat grill area that kind of pushes heat out from the engine. And that is a wide body car with a Stingray grill underneath the taillight there. The Z06 and E-Ray grills were more elongated and not as tall. This one is, in fact, a Stingray, and I thought it looked like a Stingray one, and then the guy who actually took the picture confirmed it is a Stingray grill on the back bumper, even though that is a wide body bumper. So we don't have a car that utilizes those two parts together yet. And it makes sense on a Grand Sport that requires less cooling to have smaller heat exits. So makes sense. Now, one of the things I talked about in that video a lot was the side intake here and how it looked much different, because we have what looks like a pretty big black open area right above the intake where it looks like there could be a potentially new style intake on top of the normal boomerang there. I have found since then that is actually not anything. GM has done this in the past where they'll put vinyl or these wraps on these cars, these camo wraps, and they'll add things underneath. If you guys don't remember, before the Z06 was officially out, they ran around with a Z06 that had what looked like exactly a hood vent on it under camo. And it wasn't the ZR1 at the time. It was literally a Z06 running around with this camo, and they added this thing in there that made it look like it had a hood vent. And everybody was like, oh, the Z06 is going to have a hood vent. I could clearly see it. I was one of them. I was like, yeah, it's right there. There's no doubt it's going to have a hood vent. Find out later, it was just cladding the GM put on there to throw us off. So same kind of thing happening here. They want you to believe you're looking at something totally different here, but in fact, it's not going to be different. The side intake of the Grand Sport is very likely to be either the same intake as the Z06 or the same side intake as the ZR1. Now, if you guys don't know what those look like, of course, the reason why they're different is the Z06 has just kind of a regular setup there. You can see very normal looking. And then, of course, the ZR1 has the extra little push in there where there's extra brake duct cooling. Now, the source I was talking to, you'll see this video in the future, but we were talking a lot about the ZR1X as well. And we didn't get back off of that topic.
Your source just watches my videos and then tells you.
It was going to be the same as the ZR1 or the Z06. I can't remember what he said. So with that said, I'll be putting out a video probably tomorrow or Wednesday on the ZR1X too, because I have some additional information about that car that no one knows yet either. And but I just want to let you know that the side intake on the Grand Sport is either going to look like this or like that. It is not going to be anything right.
Thanks for letting us know, you fat fuck.
The Z06 or the ZR1, I haven't gotten confirmation on that
damn,
yet.
this guy's so stupid.
That picture that we saw, the picture from the neighbor, the intake's not going to look anything like what we think that looks like, or what I thought. I mean, I was speculating in that video. I made it pretty clear. I was making most of that was speculation, but it looks different, but it's not going to be. Right. So
I wish we had a front end picture of that car sitting there.
Yeah, and the front end of the car is the other part where things start to get really interesting, because I got confirmation again from my source. Guys, smash the thumbs up. We need 10 more in 3 minutes to hit our 100 goal. But anyway, I got confirmation from my source that the C8 Grand Sport is going to use the exact same front bumper from a Z06, which looks just like the thumbnail here, guys. If you don't know what that looks like, that's what it looks like. But the front center of the bumper is going to be enclosed like it is on a Stingray. So you're going to have the big outboard radiators on the sides, the passenger driver's side, just like you do with the Z06. But the center, there's not going to be an opening there because there's no radiator there. It's going to be totally enclosed. And it's going to look more like the bumper shown here with that enclosed area in the front center.
On the lower
so it's going
level
to be a Z06
car,
bumper with the front center enclosed with a piece of plastic where you would put like your license plate and stuff, and it will likely have some sort of dressing that says Corvette or something on it, just like the Stingray does.
not on the
so
ZTK
the
version.
Z06 with that center part closed in. whenever you think about the way GM does things, a lot of this stuff, it starts to make a lot of sense whenever I heard this, because GM is ultimately making what I would call a parts bin car. They already have the wide body. They already have the engine if they keep an LT2 in there. They already have all this stuff. So they're not going to radically recreate or radically redo the wheel, so to speak. They're going to use the same intakes they already have, which tells me it's most likely going to be a Z06 style intake, unlikely to be a ZR1 style intake, because the ZR1 style intake right now is molded in carbon fiber, and I highly doubt that will make its way to the Grand Sport. It's going to be mostly carbon flash. So if I had to put money on one of the two, it's going to be the Z06 style intake. And then that front bumper being a Z06 bumper with the center enclosed, because they already have the bumper. And the center enclosed actually still will make it look a little different than a Z06 or an E-Ray.
Well, that's traditionally what all the Grand Sports have been, right? It's the parts from the other cars. You get the suspension, the wide body. The only thing different was they did offer, especially like with the C6s, is the different wheels. So they would offer different wheel options, which is so easy to do for GM to offer different wheels for the Grand Sport, but the rest of it's just already there. It's always been a formula. So.
Hot Rod Todd's literally saying exactly what you said. And I said that in the initial video too. If you guys look at that leaked image again from the neighbor, it has Z06 wheels on it. But it doesn't matter, because whenever they come out with their special Grand Sport wheel, it will be the same style or the same size wheel. So they don't need to be testing the actual wheel they're going to put on that car with this car. They can easily just throw a Z06 wheel in there, and then that makes anybody looking onto the car even less likely to know that they're testing something special. They just assume that's a Z06. Now, again, you can see the outboard exhaust tips as well. They're not center on this car. Again, another identifying feature of a Stingray. It's going to be more similar to a Stingray than anything, with a wide body mostly from the Z06, with slight differences like the center front bumper being enclosed because it doesn't need that extra cooling.
Right. The other thing that one of my friends I was talking to about the Grand Sport after you and I mentioned that your video came out, because he watches your channel obviously too. He was like, what question keeps coming up for me is, are the Grand Sport stripes going to be on the front fenders or on the back fenders like the Jake logos and stuff, since it's mid-engine?
It would still be the front fender, I bet. I haven't seen it, of course. They're still under camo.
Right, but that was one of the things he said, wow, he's like, I never thought about that, but now it's mid-engine and they could put like the Jake logos and stuff on that back.
Yeah, that's why I can almost guarantee it will be on the front fenders, because
I hope so.
I mean, there was actually a package. I don't remember if it was official from GM or not, but I've seen C8s with what looked like hash marks on the front fenders before.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there'll be some sort of hash marks on the car, and from what I'm seeing here now, guys, no, it is not going to have a center exhaust. It's very likely to be outboard, just like the Stingray or E-Ray is.
Right.
Professor Corvette says, will it have the Z06 suspension? Grand Sport usually gets it, yes. In the C7 generation, Grand Sport actually even got the Z07 at one point. You could get a Z07 style setup with the Grand Sport with the extra canards in the front, the bigger spoiler and stuff. So it really is basically a Z06 with less power. But assuming GM follows suit, you might even be able to get a Z07 package, but you'll definitely at least have the Z06 style suspension.
That wouldn't affect constraints at all.
No. And that's the thing, is that they're technically it wouldn't, because if they don't offer the same spoiler and stuff.
Correct.
Although, again, Mike, he usually listens to this the day after the live, so I know he's not in here, but he told me when he was talking to Tony Roma at Corvettes at Carlisle, Tony told him that the constraint part of the carbon fiber is not the wing, it's the front splitter. That's the thing they're having trouble getting. So that's why whenever you see the Z07 package on constraint, stuff like that, it's actually the splitter, it's not the wing. So if that's the case, I doubt the Grand Sport will come standard with a spoiler or a splitter, but even if they select let's say they offer a Z07 package for it, even if they select that, it may still not even come with the wing. You know what I mean? The wing might still, I would imagine the wing won't come with that car if they want to try to really differentiate it from the Z06. Maybe they'll give it that 3-post wing that they're giving to the E-Ray, something like that.
I really think, though, that they're going to offer that, because that configuration was very popular. They sold a lot of that, and it was probably, might be bang for your buck, one of the best specs you can get from a performance standpoint when you got the Z07 on the Grand Sport and the C7. If you're still a phenomenal car.
If you're looking for a track car, especially the C7 lineup,
Guys, everything that I've been telling you all along, where he said I was wrong, now he's saying I'm right. But he didn't have the fucking humility to say, hey guys, I was wrong, Brandon was right. I mean, this guy, my source is telling me, your source is a fucking year late. 2 years late. Think about it.
No, I'd say 65 to 70% most.
Exactly. So if you're going to track it on a regular basis, the LT2 is cheaper to maintain. If you buy a rebuild when you can, the other side, so.
Or because there's no radiator, there's no reason for them to have that open.
Points of light, when the ZR1s are absolutely valid.
Yeah.
Like, so it happens.
The lighting light is on the slabs.
In about 5 or 6 years, when these things hit the used market, and they're down in the 70s, that will be the best version to buy. Like,
I'm gonna get Amber to change your name. This is Corvette.
there you go.
But yeah, he says, Dan, do you like the color of the car? It was number 10 in the selling chart, 10 out of 10 at the time. So it was worse. They canceled it. It changed it from was that the stock color? And I said, yeah, that was the stock color. He said, man, is that all? I said, that's why it's not stock color anymore.
All that fucking drama of him saying that I'm wrong and that he's right and that I don't know anything, I've never been right about anything, and now he's reporting the exact same shit I've been reporting for 2 years. Go fuck yourself.